Hi everyone, welcome back on watching some of these Road Star 1600 project videos. This one will be showing how you can lower your front end without buying a lowering kit. I want this bike to be low to the ground, so this is a pretty easy way how you can lower your front end. First, I'd like to show you the tools I'll be using. I got my impact gun fork seal tool, the long Allen head socket for the bottom of the fork, screwdriver, fork seals. I'm gonna need a cutting wheel, fork oil, measuring cup. So let's get started. Alright you guys, before you take these tubes out of your bike, loosen up your top bolt. It makes it much easier than trying to figure out later. I'm not gonna drain the oil just yet, but I'm gonna pull my dust seal up. You just insert screwdriver between the fork and the dust seal, put that aside. Then you get exposed to this little clip. The clip just comes off very easily with the screwdriver. Looks like this. So now I'm gonna take my old rag that I always use so I don't mess up the top of the fork, throw that on the ground, and with the oil in it, I got my pinch bolt already out from here because it was in my way. I want to insert the socket, and with the impact wrench I'm going to loosen up the bolt. The reason why I do it this way, most videos you're going to see people drain the oil and take the top off first. The spring helps keep tension on everything, and if you have front end that it's hard to take apart, it'll be a lot easier. Alright, this one was easy. Take my bolt out. Make sure you locate your brass washer. If it's not on the bolt, get it out from inside. And now is the time when I drain my oil. Turn it right side up. Pump the oil out. This always will be a messy job, so it's a miracle if you don't get it on you somewhere. Next, we're going to separate the lower and the upper portion of the fork just by like sliding hammer action, yanking it apart. Just like that. I'm going to leave my parts to drain some more. Remove this lower part, put it aside. I'm going to slide my bushing and the seal out of the way. It's the seal, bushing, and the washer. The other bushing stays on. It sits in the groove. You can leave that one alone. Now it's the time I'm gonna get this upper portion off. You just use your adjustable wrench. There it is. Put that up here. Now I can take my spring out. Let that drain some. Now I'm going to turn this upside down and get this lower portion off. There is the same spring underneath. Okay, now is the time to go ahead and start lowering this front end. I have this PVC pipe. This one I had laying around from another project. Basically what you need to do is go to Home Depot or somewhere and find one of these PVC pipes that are real close to the diameter of the spring, and you can buy a little piece. I want to lower this front end 2.5 inches. If you do this on a different bike, you might have what they call progressive spring, That means it's wind up tighter on one side than the other. If you do have that kind of spring, I would cut on the wider end. I wouldn't cut it on the tight end. So you kind of keep your progressive spring. Next, I'm going to measure 5 inches and cut my spring with the angle grinder. Next, I'm going to move to my lower spring. I'm going to measure the length of it. This one is 1 inch, and I'm going to discard it and take this piece that I cut off and take 2.5 inches, which is what I want to lower the front end by, and add the inch of this. So instead of having two pieces stacked up on top of each other, I'm gonna have just one piece that is longer than this one. This part runs inside your fork. If originally my fork is right here when it's together, when I bring it 2.5 inches down, it'll be here. So all this needs to be filled up. So instead of using the original 1 inch spring and adding to it, I'm gonna just take from the 5 inch piece that I cut off, I'm just gonna make 3.5 inch long piece and put that in here. Okay, I got my piece cut 3.5 inches long. The way I did the cut is I tried to cut it long ways because the original spring is a straight surface. When you cut it like this, you don't have that, and I try to compensate as much as I can for that. So now it's time to add this piece in. The original piece that is straight, I'm going to put that on this side. My cut piece is going to go on the bottom. Then I can insert it inside the fork. So here it's sticking out very little, as you can tell. No worries about that because my front end is going to be a lot stiffer. It's probably not going to move more than this when it's all put together. Next thing I'm going to do is insert my top spring. Again, the side that has not been cut goes on the bottom. The cut side that it's not exactly straight goes on top. And now we're going to use this PVC pipe. I'm going to cut it on the angle on one side to compensate for the crooked top of the spring, and I'm going to insert this PVC pipe inside. After I cut my angle here on the pipe, I put it in, and I'm going to do 1 inch preload. That means once it sits flush, I'm going to measure 1 inch and cut it right there. That gives me extra stiff front end. Here's the detail. One side it's cut crooked, as I told you. I tested it a few times to make sure when it sits the right way, it's straight in the fork. And I measure 1 inch over. I insert my my piece in like this. I move it around until I feel like it's in the right way. It's sitting straight in the tube, and measure it, and I got 1 inch right there. I'm gonna put temporarily this top on right now. Align it straight. Find the sweet spot right there. Get my top. Make sure you don't cross thread the I don't need to really tighten it all the way, just about halfway. So now we are back to our stage like if you're doing your fork seals. Our lowering part has been already done. So put this piece on first. I had everything wiped clean, so now I can insert the top. I will re-clean my my area for the bolt, just using the paper towel and the long 6mm socket. Next I'm gonna clean my old bolt. Okay, now my bolt is clean and ready to go. I like to put a little bit of silicone, just like so. It keeps sealing, helps seal it, and also keeps the washer from falling out of place. Get it just started, just a couple threads, make sure it's good. Now cross thread it. Take my impact again. Now I can turn it right side up. Start with our bushings. I like to make sure that there is no gap. Right now there's a little gap right here. I like to close that. The way I do it is I basically squeeze it both ways. And make sure that there's no gap. It makes it a lot easier to go in. A lot of people like to use PVC pipe. They buy a pipe that just slides over the fork and use that as a tool to install the seals. Nothing wrong with that. I got this this tool that they sell for that purpose. So I don't have the seal on yet. All I'm doing is putting the bushing in first, so the seals got a lot easier way to get in. I pop the washer back out and look inside, make sure that that bushing is flush with the recess, so you know it's all the way down. Drop my washer back in, and now I can go ahead and put the seal in. I'm going to spray some WD-40 on it, just make it slide better. Do the same inside a fork. It's not going to hurt anything. Whatever makes it easier. Get it started nice and straight. I'm back to my tool. If you use the PVC pipe, now is the time to get your new seal in. Next is our clip. Make sure it pops into the groove. And finally, our dust seal. Use a little rubber mallet. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is open it up again and put oil in it. This bike normally takes almost 19 ounces. I'm only going to put 14 since the fork is shorter now. I put about half pump it up. Alright, that feels good. And now for the final time, I'm going to align my spacer and get this top on. I'm not gonna lie, this is a pain in the ass. As you can tell, I busted my finger. Okay, we have our fork lowered. I'm gonna show you the other one next to it, just so you can tell the difference. When I squeeze on them, this one is a lot stiffer. Let me show you the original one. Here is our two forks side by side. The other ones still need to be done. If I find out my preload is too much, I can always just pop the top once it's on the bike. I can shorten the spacer and that would soften it up some. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna be putting a lot more videos on this Road Star project. I got some parts coming back from powder coating. It's coming along pretty good. It's gonna be low and cool. So thank you, and I hope to see you in my next video. Please subscribe if you like. Thanks.